Here are some amazing facts about the pine siskin. Small and social, pine siskins are small, brown, and streaked finches, measuring around 4.5 to 5 inches in length. Seasonal visitors, they are considered seasonal migrants, moving southward in winter to avoid harsher northern climates. Range, pine siskins are primarily found in North America, from southern Canada to the northern United States, and they are often seen in coniferous forests. Appearance, their feathers are generally brownish with streaks, and they have yellow patches on their wings and tail that are most visible in flight. Song, pine siskins have a pleasant, tinkling song that often sounds like a series of trills or high-pitched notes. Feeding behavior, they are primarily seed eaters, with a preference for small seeds such as those from conifers, grasses, and thistles. Diet variety, in addition to seeds, they will occasionally feed on insects, especially during breeding season. Flight pattern, pine siskins are known for their erratic, bouncy flight patterns when moving between trees or feeding sites. Foraging, they often forage in flocks, hopping along the ground or in trees, picking at seeds. Yellow highlights, their yellowish wing and tail markings are not only a feature of their appearance but are also an identifier for birdwatchers. Hardy climbers, pine siskins are great climbers, using their sharp claws to grip onto branches, often feeding on cones and twigs. Group behavior, these birds are highly social, often seen in large flocks during the winter months, which helps in finding food and deterring predators. Nest building, pine siskins build their nests in trees, often in the high branches of conifers. The nests are well hidden and made of twigs, grasses, and moss. Clutch size, the female lays 2 to 5 eggs, which are incubated for about 12 to 13 days. Brooding, after hatching, the parents feed their chicks insects and seeds for about 13 to 16 days before they leave the nest. Migratory movements, their migration is not entirely predictable, it can depend on food availability, and some years they may stay in one region longer than others. Vocalization, while they have a high-pitched song, their alarm calls are much sharper and more piercing. Hybridization, pine siskins occasionally hybridize with other finch species, such as the American goldfinch and the house finch. Energy demands, as a small bird, they require a high caloric intake, often feeding multiple times throughout the day. Conifer dependent, their primary food sources are conifer seeds, which they extract from cones using their strong beaks. Winter diet, in winter, pine siskins may congregate around bird feeders, especially those with sunflower seeds or Niger seed. Eye color, they have dark eyes that help them spot food in the branches and cones of trees. Predators, pine siskins are preyed upon by larger birds of prey, such as hawks and falcons, and by domestic cats. Reproductive strategy, they breed from late spring to early summer, taking advantage of the abundant food supply in this period. Tight flock formation, when migrating or feeding, their flocks often stay tightly packed together for safety and social interaction. Molding, pine siskins molt once a year, typically after the breeding season, losing some of their old feathers to grow new ones. Lifespan, in the wild, the average lifespan of a pine siskin is around 2 to 3 years, though some can live longer. Pine cone lovers, their love for conifer seeds makes them one of the few bird species that feed almost exclusively on pine cones in winter. Sociable with other species, pine siskins often mix in flocks with other small finches like American goldfinches or common redpolls. Seed dispersers, by feeding on pine cones and other seeds, pine siskins inadvertently help in seed dispersal, contributing to the growth of plants. Migratory routes, they migrate in flocks, and although their migration routes are not fixed, they often head south when food becomes scarce. Pine siskin calls, Their calls can sound like jit jit jit, and they often call while flying to communicate with others in their flock. Adaptable diet. While they favor conifer seeds, pine siskins can adapt their diet based on seasonal availability of food. Breeding habitat. Pine siskins tend to breed in dense, coniferous forests, often near a source of water. Incubation period. The female incubates the eggs for about 12 days, while the male helps protect the nest. Juvenile diet. When the young fledge, they are still dependent on their parents for food, learning how to forage in the wild. Coloration change. In the fall, male pine siskins sometimes develop brighter yellow feathers, which they use in courtship displays.